We're going live. Going live. I gotta make the post. I should have made the post first. We're going live. Hey, I just won't say anything. There. No, it's like it'll be like a short post. Going live. That's what you get. Going live. Okay. Getting myself sorted. Welcome everybody. This is that show that every week I make, the Comedeorological report. And we're here with always a changing cast of characters, except for Frankie McDonald. Brandon Hauk will not be here this week, but I got some other people coming in instead. Of course, Hilding's back. And I'm just making the post to put on the channel. Come and ask us anything about the weather. Yes, that's all I'm going to do for now. Gotta keep it simple. So we got no Brandon Hauk this week, right? This is the recording session. I was trying to explain this to Madison simply, but I'm not good at explaining things simply. So it's like, this is not the show. However, because it's live streaming, I suppose it's a show, but it's not the show. The show starts at 7. But the show is happening now, but it's a show within the show. So we start recording the radio and TV show at 7 p.m. and that recording session. And this is where we get our audio worked out and our kinks and our faces. And welcome. So Hilding here as usual, and this is Madison.
Madeline.
Did I just say Madison?
Yeah, you did. Twice. But that's okay. I still love you.
I can't believe I just fucking said that.
That's okay. It's usually shortened to Maddie, so you know.
Yeah, I know, but it's just...
I know you know that.
No, I know. I'm like trying to like type and post and.
I feel you, man.
Maddie,
no apologies.
Taskin Stracek.
Hello.
Folk singer, friend who's has relation to here in Wells, was in Wells all summer, and drove away, perhaps wisely. I mean, it's not that wintry. It's not. This is a pretty El Nino winter going on here. I mean, this is.
Was that melting snowman graphic? Was that from Wells, or was that just pulled from the internet?
Oh, of course it wasn't from here. I'd never make a snowman.
Okay. You anti-snowman? Is it too touchy-feely for you?
No, it's just like pointless. The kids might do it, but I mean, I don't know. Usually
not even to watch it die slowly in a slow melt.
There's like a certain quality of snow you have to have here to make a snowman. Well, anywhere really. All right. And what's out there right now is more like ice. So you can build like a pile of ice chunks and call it they. But you definitely could not make a snowman.
Yeah.
There's no physical.
The first snow that fell in Wells, which I was very excited about, which would have been, 2 weeks ago or something? It was very packable. I was like, I wish I was not having to spend every waking moment packing up my life to get back to California, because I really want to organize a snowball fight right now. It was perfect.
Right. So you didn't want to be packing, you wanted to be packing.
Packing snow. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah, there was a couple days where it was pretty good. Yeah, it's true. And I looked at the window at it and I said, damn, I have to go get more firewood. And that's what I went and did.
Yeah.
So that's the last time I seen you. I was getting in the truck with the kids and the pup.
Yeah. And I managed to snap.
You went on an epic trip, and now you're down south. And so, like, what's happened? Now you're in California?
I am now in Oakland, California. And I was thinking about your invite and thinking like, I always have imposter syndrome. It's just part of how my brain works. But I was like, what the hell would I have to offer the Caribou Weather Channel? And I realized, I've been in like inland and on the coast in multiple, what do you call this one? Latitudes?
Yes.
Latitudes and different elevations, all in the span of 1 week. So it was pretty boring weather, but
that's true. And hey,
What's
As a
that?
musician, my travels across Canada helped turn me into an excellent weatherman. Seen it all, right?
Weather
So,
is boring.
and Hilding, I know from music festivals. So, like, hey, this isn't exactly National Geographic.
Right.
This isn't exactly the Weather Network,
I
you
don't
know,
have
which
to
is
prove
good.
my meteorology credentials, which
You don't,
don't
it's
exist.
just, it's good that it's not the Weather Network. You don't want that because, I'll give you another good example. Weather Network, here, give me 1 minute and I'll find this for you. And I'll show you all exactly what I have to show you.
Do you want a drum roll?
Okay, so here's see this. This is the internet. You you look at
I've
it.
heard of it.
It's the internet. So Wells, BC weather, and I mean this is all okay, I guess. -11, -10 the next couple nights, and this is okay. But okay, atmospheric river bringing 200 millimeters of rain to parts of BC. Whoa, okay, that sounds crazy. Fridays, rain and snow in BC is a tease of the relentless drenching to come early in the next week. See what the forecasters are saying. So then we go and the British Columbia, and then so that's the south coast. We can see that Revelstoke and Invermere exist in that map, so that's unusual for Weather Network. Oh, look, there you go. So Malibu, never even heard of that fucking place, but it's on there. So this is what's going on this weekend. And if you live in Quesnel, that's up here somewhere. You're right on the. You're not even on the map hardly. You're at, there's that bend there. That's where Quesnel is, basically. So
Good
you don't.
eye.
Atmospheric river arrives into Sunday and early next week. And again, look at this. So these are crazy fucking 355 millimeters of rain possible. Like this is disaster preparation material. Okay, so fair enough. And it's definitely affecting the South Coast. That's cool. We get it. End of article. So what does it say here though? British Columbia. See that?
You're
See
right.
those
The
words?
whole
See those two words there? You know what I found out is that British Columbia is really big.
I think British Columbia is, don't quote me on this, but like the same land area as Oregon, Washington, and California combined, I want to say. But the map
I,
projection's all messed up. Somebody
I could
fact check me on
almost
that.
believe that because they're
Yeah,
they're thin.
somebody fact check it. Let's do this.
They're thin. Okay, yeah, get on there, fact check that. I could believe it. I mean, BC's really
Yeah, I'll
big.
do some addition.
So already, because you've gone from Wells to Oakland, California, you have more weather data to tell me than the Weather Network does right now.
Right.
Not really, but you know what I'm saying?
I can speculate as well as the next guy too.
Yeah.
I actually kind of want to start a podcast called Speculation Hour, where you just like pick a topic and get a bunch of random people to speculate on it, because it happens on the regular. No, I think it's because I think it's going to rain a lot.
You
You
gotta
like,
make
well,
topics.
it could be because you can have a
You got to
whole
find topics
conversation.
that people are bound to argue about for weeks, such as,
It's pretty much anything.
on our show, we've had an ongoing debate about Fruit Loops.
Like the software or the food?
I
Food.
didn't know there was a sauce.
Oh,
Yeah, the
Fruity
food.
Loops. Okay.
Yeah,
Fruity
they're
Loops
all
is
the same flavor. Doesn't matter what color they are. And so we even did taste tests on the show with everyone eating Fruit Loops blindfolded. And yet people still couldn't agree. But I was like, look, the data shows nobody is, they're like, well, we don't know what flavor they're supposed to be. I was like, yeah, but look on the box. That's a cherry. That's a lemon. Whatever
It could
is,
be
right?
argued though that the taste does change when you can see the flavor.
Yeah.
There's a psychological aspect to it. Yes, when you see colors, you imagine flavors. They say that has been proven in Europe, because in Europe they weren't allowed to use flavor changes in colorings. So they made all the Fruit Loops one color, and people in Europe still swear they taste different.
So here's
Wow.
speaking of the Fruit Loops controversy, Imogen's showing up here in a matter of moments, and she'll
Thanks for
swear up
passing.
and down that there's flavors, and there could be, but so far there's no evidence to show it.
Mm.
No conclusive. That's all I've been saying. So yeah, tell me about your drive, Maddie. Because when we start recording, this is kind of the time too where we should get ready for the recording session. So we just like, we kind of go over what we're going to go over again later, anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Where we formulate our what's the word I'm looking for? Our very brilliant thoughts, and as if we just came up with them on the fly later.
Idiom. I stopped shaving and taking care of myself, and all that I have left in this world is kids, puppy, and this show. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I left Wells. I was really nervous about that because I hadn't driven in snow in a while, and I got the all-season tires, not the snow tires, because I didn't want to have to change them as soon as I left the snow, half an hour after I left Wells, But so yeah, it was a pretty harrowing drive that first half of the way, but we went with a caravan of 3 people and we all had walkie-talkies, so it was really cute. And I was like in the rear, and a lot of we had warnings from half a block up or whatever. So that made me feel safer with all my worldly belongings, like, because the momentum in that thing with all my like music gear packed in the trunk, I was really worried about hitting a little patch of ice. I like to speed too, so anyway, that was lovely. And then
I recall that,
the snow
yes.
pretty much with that.
I recall that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were in the car with me once. Yeah. Yeah, and speed safely though, kids.
Because every time Rebecca was trying to do energy work on you, we'd start going faster.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah.
I'm healing you.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Fucking weirdo.
Oh, well, let's not go.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I that was pretty much the only nasty conditions. I did not touch a drop of moisture all the way down to California. What I did notice though, that's not true, because I got to the coast, and I guess because I've been living at elevation for 5 or 6 months, I hadn't really noticed it. But I got to the coast and I opened the door of my car, and I felt more cold than I have felt in weeks of being in 0 to 10 degrees Celsius, just because of the humidity. So I don't know. I just like that cold just gets right in your bones. So
I found that even going to Quesnel today, that I left here and everything was frozen here. And when I got to Quesnel, everything was like damp and windy and cold. And I left here wearing just like long sleeve shirt and my usual hoodie, and no big deal. And I got to town and I was like standing outside Safeway going like, ugh.
Yeah. Is that because I'm trying to remember my ancient architecture training? Is that to do with like the dew point and like that because the ambient temperature is colder, there's no room in the molecules of air for the water to sit, so it goes everywhere else and it's not in the air touching your skin, taking your heat away? Do you know?
Warm air holds moisture.
Yeah,
the warmer
that's what I just said,
air, the more moisture. Yeah. The warmer the air, the more moisture it can carry, right? So it's a climate change. This is a fundamental of climate change, sort of off topic, right? But you have warmer air, that means you're gonna have no rain in some places and extreme rain in other places, right?
Mm-hmm.
More water in the air, transportable. So what happens even at 4 degrees or 5 degrees, there's moisture in the air, and it's like getting through my clothes, and the wind's blowing through, and I just, God, just get me back to the mountains where it's just cold.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel as cold if you're properly dressed. Yeah. Well, I was expecting to have that. Oh, go ahead.
A body that actually notices barometric and moisture combinations. and you won't find it on the gauges. They won't tell you in the weather reports, and you can feel it in your own bones when things happen. Like I broke both my wrists. I can feel it in my fingers when it is both damp and the barometric pressure is changing, and it won't show up on meters. It's really interesting. This past week, it's been warm for 3 weeks, warmer than this time of year for 3 weeks. This past week, it got damper. And I didn't even notice it, except for that I have a pulled ligament in my shoulder that pulled like 30 years ago, and it's affected by damp weather. It has been bothering me like crazy for 3 days. Like it's gonna snow. I know it's gonna snow soon, and it's
It's
this
coming.
morning.
Oh yeah, check this out. This was today here. Oh wait, I get the volume.
Oh boy! Whoa, what is that? That's that was a shopping cart. And
Isn't- oh, another one. It's just like piles of busted shopping carts in Quesnel today.
Wow, did somebody go on a
So we got
rampage?
shopping cart,
Let's
shopping
do
cart,
this.
shopping cart, shopping cart, shopping cart, shopping cart, shopping cart. Oh boy! Whoa, that's
Hilden, do you think that comes with being a farmer? Like, cause I feel like, that's like a meme. I'm feeling it in my
noticed
wrist.
I've noticed it for years with different people who have broken bones and then work out in the weather at all. They'll notice certain changes in moisture and barometric pressure combined that don't show up on the weather reports. And like there was a man here who had a slip in his back, and he walked around with 2 canes. A week before it was ready to snow, he'd all of a sudden be laid up in bed and couldn't move, and his legs just hurt like crazy. And
Well-
for a week, telling everybody it's gonna snow, and then it would snow.
Good. The Maple Leafs just won. I can stop paying attention to that. They like to blow leads and go to overtime in any Thursday night game. Right? So it's like if
I don't know what any of those things mean, and I'm proud of it.
so, okay, well, there's a hockey game's going on. It starts at 4. It should conclude sometime around 6:45. If your team is very good and wins most of their games, which the Leafs are pretty good and win most of their, the majority. They got a winning percentage. But no, if it's a Thursday night game, it's got to be 4-1 with 10 minutes to go, and I'm like, okay, good. I can turn off the hockey game and stop paying attention. And then with 4 minutes to go, it's suddenly 3-3, and I'm like,
Dang it.
yeah. And then it goes to overtime, and at least the Maple Leafs finish the game off. That's good.
But they won?
Yes.
You must be happy about that. It sounds like that might be your team.
It's a wonderful day. The Maple Leafs won, and Henry Kissinger is dead.
Oh God. I bet
a
we're not
wonderful
supposed to
day.
speak ill of the dead. I really have a hard time speaking ill of really
When it comes to
anyone,
Henry
even though I
Kissinger,
can.
If you
I
don't
know.
speak ill of him, you are.
I know, but
engaging
I
in
know that
satanic
someone
practice.
well, he wasn't born that way. That's the way I think about it. His essence.
No, that's what makes it even worse.
I don't know.
The millions
know
of
what he was
people in
doing.
Cambodia and Laos, Indochina,
Yeah.
and beyond, that Henry
Mhm.
Kissinger, he's a war criminal, and I'm goddamn glad to see him go. It's like when they buried Margaret Thatcher on my birthday, I was just like, yeah, right on.
It's not your birthday. Thanks.
Yeah, and then Jim Flaherty, the former finance minister of the Conservative Party, he died on my birthday. I was like, it's like raining gold. Hey, Imogen, how you doing? I haven't heard a word from you yet because you've been setting up and doing things, but how you doing this week?
Pretty okay.
Pretty
About
okay.
Yeah. Just lost in product development and marketing.
Oh,
So
that's
that's
good.
what I've been doing.
That's a good thing.
Keeps me busy. That's for sure.
None of that's for our show.
Nope, nothing to do with our show.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
Well, you've done some good work for the show anyways. Thank you very much.
I
We
guess.
are on TV because of the Imogen machine.
Woo woo.
One of the little notes that I have to mention is that Rogers has taken over Shaw, so our new overlords is Rogers Cable, Rogers TV. I'm just going to double check the wording because we have a new sign off. Also,
Okay, yeah,
at the end,
this is good stuff.
yes. 1 second here. Let me find it. All right, community updates. What is the sign off that we're now using? Rogers TV. Yeah, so at the end, we just need to acknowledge that we're on Rogers TV as opposed to Shaw Spotlight, which is absolutely fucking ducky. Also at the end in editing, we just need to put a splash little graphic on the screen that just says copyright 2023 Comedeorological report. Just because that's kind of Rogers.
In my end credits.
In the end credits,
yes.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I
I already put the date up at the top usually.
Yep. Well, the specific date isn't really, we don't really need that because the rotation that we're on is that we do average like 4 time slots a week. So it's on at different times. Also, if we don't have an episode 1 week, for example, then we can pull an old one and just run that. So not having the exact date is fine, but just having the copyright little brand there of copyright meteorological report and the year is all we really need.
I think the exact date's important because we're giving weather news.
We are.
You know what I mean? So it is important for me to say, and I always forget at the top of the show, and usually Brandon picks it up to say the date at the top of the show, right? Because that way, at least if people are hearing it, they're not like, "Oh my God, there's tornadoes happening," and they look at the window and it's snowing. You know, like, what the fuck's going on? You know, like,
and
no, the past episode.
Well, the punchline to Canadian
Misinformation.
weather. Yeah, the punchline to Canadian weather is that it doesn't matter what we say because in an hour from now, it's going to schizophrenically change his mind. It's a hangry girlfriend is what it is. So, so if you ask your hangry girlfriend what she wants for dinner or where she wants to go, you will not get a straight answer. And if you do, it'll be different in 30 seconds. So that's our weather. So having the exact date the week of is good. I think the week of is a little more accurate because we can be vague. The exact date's fine, but it's with the understanding that the weather here sucks. So,
Imogen, you haven't met Madeline yet, but Madeline's a good
Hi.
friend, folk musician who's had gold claims and things in Wells to deal with this year, was home for the summer and has now gone back to California. And,
excellent.
Yes.
Actual home.
So because we got no Brandon Houck this week.
But I'm from Quesnel. For the record.
Perfect. Important distinction from Wells.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got no Brandon Houck this week, but we got some various people showing up. Like you might recall David Roy Parsons, my other folks and your friend, who's down there. My phone is ringing just off the hook right now. Oh, Frankie wants the link to the show.
And I'm adding up areas of states right now to see if this is true.
So there's Frankie. Good to see you, David.
You too. What's going on here? What's the meeting about?
That's a Comedeorological report.
Oh yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Dave just like casually, he's like, I'm gonna go on TV and radio. Whatever. What are we here for?
Well, yeah. I
No
just.
big deal, eh, David?
Okay. Yeah.
Can you tilt your camera just a bit so we can see you and not? It's like directed right at the light behind you.
Oh, okay.
David, if you can just.
I'll try and do something there.
Or if you just, yeah.
So in front of the light, we'll get some.
Yeah, no.
lighting.
When you move your head, that light is.
Maybe I'll turn the light off.
Ooh, spooky.
Hey, yeah.
Ah,
That's a good idea, actually.
Okay.
now we're getting spooky.
It is now 7:01. Does it matter?
We go.
No,
Maybe
because
timekeeper.
Frankie is messaging me. I put the link in the one group chat, but not the others, and so Frankie's a minute behind.
Cool. And I believe that it's true. I'm just making sure that I didn't include total land mass, square kilometers. Yes, it is true what I said before, that the land area of BC is bigger than Oregon, California, and Washington combined.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Infinitely pretty.
Weird. Right?
BC is infinitely
It
pretty.
is.
So we're gonna have Frankie here any second. He got
You got lost.
confused by the show.
Frankie is comedically punctual. At
Yeah.
8 o'clock on the button, he will be gone. If the clock hits 8:01 and Frankie's still here, this is a strange thing.
It's 7:02 this week,
I respect that.
and we finally have Frankie. It was like I was starting to get nervous. It's like 7:02.
I'm doing great so far.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna record the
I'm ready.
cloud, Frankie. You ready to go, bud?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
Okay. Good morning, Prince George, and good afternoon, Winnipeg. Hello, Kamloops and Rogers TV. I'm gonna have to get used to saying that. We're not on the spotlight no more. No, we are now on Rogers TV. So this is the Comedeorological Report. Comedy plus meteorology equals Comedeorology. It's your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada, and suck it does indeed. The weather is funny business, and we are here to laugh about it. Comedy and meteorology together. With me is my panel of amazing people. I sit up here in the mountains in Wells, BC. And, winter goes by, not very much happens, and it's pretty slow sometimes. And then Thursday nights come along, and it's our time to get on the live stream and meet with all my friends and get the group together, the Comedeorological panel. Yes, we got the world's greatest weatherman, as always, Frankie McDonald. He's out there in Sydney, Nova Scotia, and we'll talk to him first in just a couple minutes' time. And so we don't have Brandon Hauk this week. Brandon, he did a 12-hour radio marathon today and raised $40,000 for food banks. And he said, and he's got to do morning show tomorrow for the radio station. And then he's got to do the Brooks Bandits hockey game tomorrow night. And I said, what? We aren't important enough, Brandon? And you take the night off, buddy. So we got to know Brandon Hauk to talk to us about how bad Western Canada is going to have it when the atmospheric river slams into the south coast of BC this weekend. However, we could probably talk about that a little bit ourselves. We got special guests to fill the place for Brandon this week. Well, as always, Hilding Donaldson out there in Grassy Plains, British Columbia, the cowboy himself's here. But we have Madeline Streisick. Yeah, see, I didn't get it wrong this time.
Oh, you got
Taskin.
it right. I go by Taskin, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my middle name. Hi, everyone.
For some reason earlier, I said her name wrong when I was doing 6 things at once. And she's
Happens to the best
from
of us.
Quesnel originally, but has been living in California for years. Is a folk singer, was up here this summer doing some business, and was here till last week and left and drove all the way back down to Oakland. I said, you know what? You probably have seen a fair bit of weather on your journey from here to there. So that's what this show's about, to talk about from here to there. And my old best friend, David Roy Parsons, down there in Vancouver, BC. Imogen Cookie Bailey, associate producer in Victoria, British Columbia. That's the panel so far. We never know who else might show up because we're crazy around here. There's no rules. Anything could happen. Okay. But first things first, there is actually one rule, and the one rule is that right off the top of the show, we talk to the man himself out there in Sydney, Nova Scotia, the world's greatest weatherman, Frankie McDonald. How you doing so far?
I'm doing good so far. Supposed to get really cold temperatures. It's a little mild though right now. Then there's a rain and snow in the forecast in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, Newfoundland on Monday. It's going to return with lots of rain in Vancouver, British Columbia, Seattle, Portland, all these places. Lots of snow up in the mountains, British Columbia and Idaho. In Wyoming, those places right now. Then they got some warm air, cold air fighting each other down. And they got really humid air down state of Florida right now. And humid air trying to fight back. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas. Then it got colder weather heading for California too. I just sent you the link about the Siberia snowstorm.
Siberia snowstorm, Frankie.
A blizzard.
A blizzard. Okay. What else?
Yeah.
What's going on with the Vancouver's? What's going on the coast? The 350 millimeters of rain in Tofino, Frankie.
Yes, there's so much rain going on in Tofino, British Columbia as of right now.
Yeah, this weekend there's going to be an atmospheric river, one of those ARs coming in.
Mhm.
In Vancouver. On the
Well,
south.
to the coast.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah. You heard it here.
All
So
right.
Frankie, What about the big storm coming through Ontario this weekend and through down
Lots
to?
of rain in Toronto and those places. Then you got lots of rain and snow in northern Ontario, southern Ontario, things like this.
I think Frankie's getting messages right now. He seems to not quite
That's
ready.
Pat, the Pat from Friend of Base guy.
Ah, I see. What about down in America, Frankie?
Down in the States, it's supposed to get lots of rain, fighting each other. Got really lots of thunderstorms and rain going on in Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and now Arkansas, and Georgia, Florida. Then it got a lot of rain going on down the state of Florida and things like this. As of right now, then it got some snow in Colorado and Wyoming and parts of Idaho and interior Oregon and Washington State, Northern California, things right now. Supposed to get a lot of thunderstorms and rain in Central America, including South America, including Venezuela's entering the dry season. It's going to bring lots of thunderstorms and rain in eastern Peru, eastern Ecuador, and all those places. And the coastal areas are dry because in northern Chile it's really windy in the desert parts of northern Chile right now. And lots of rain. Go down in southern Chile, on the coast areas, snow up in the mountains, southern Chile. Then it got cold air, it's fighting over. But the meteorological summer starts in Argentina on December 1st. But it's cold air is not letting up in Argentina.
Yeah, I
Then
see
you got
that.
really-
Fair bit of snow, Frankie. It looks like in the next 3 days, for example, 66 centimeters could fall down those mountains in Chile. The next 100 centimeters in the next 5 days, maybe, yeah. So a pretty big snowfall for the start of summer down there in those mountains. What do you got? What do you got for Australia, Frankie?
Down in southeastern Australia and down in southern Australia. And did you hear about this? And lots of thunderstorms and rain going on in southeastern Australia and hail and thunderstorms going on in northern Australia, like Northern Territory, things like this. As of right now, in southwestern Pacific, lots of rain going on in New Zealand, North Island, South Island, New Zealand, Northern South Island, New Zealand, and lots of warm air going on in New Zealand right now because their summer starts on December 21st.
So today is
Mhm, and
November
they're-
30th.
Cyclone season starting early.
Today's November 30th, Frankie. Tomorrow is the beginning of
Oh my God.
Comedeorological winter.
There's a cyclone hitting for Papua New Guinea on December 4th. Tropical cyclone. Could be aiming it towards northeastern Australia if possible. Over in Japan, really cold weather going on in Japan right now. Even cold air in Tokyo, Japan, Sapporo, Japan, Osaka, Japan, Nagano, Japan. Even up in Japan mountains, they're getting snow there in South Korea, North Korea, Vladivostok, Russia, and Mongolia. It's really cold air right now.
Hurricane season is over, they're saying, for the Atlantic. Although it may have ranked 4th for the most named storms in a year, Frankie.
Yes, it's really cold in England right now. And some snow and forecast up in Scotland, England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland right now. And there's a lot of rain and snow in Italy right now. Lots of rain showers and snow, and lots of snow up in the north of Italy and parts of France and things like this. In Germany, they're getting snow there right now. Then they got lots of storms, one storm right after another, heading for United Kingdom next week. And England's getting a lot of rain and wind and snow in the mountains and things like this. And then they got some cooler air hitting for Libya and things like this. Then they got some showers in Spain and rain in Spain as well.
Spain rain.
Over in
Spain
Yakut.
rain.
And I sent you guys a video about the big blizzard in Yakutsk, according to Kirill backing off. The Saraf, Russia.
Yeah, you didn't make much for videos this week, did you, Frankie?
No, that guy trying to stand up in the blizzard.
How come you didn't make videos this week? You got really windy and cold in Sydney area. 26-second long video, a 29-second long video. That's all you put out this week, Frankie.
Yes.
Were you too busy doing the karaoke or going to games or seeing Santa Claus? What were you doing?
I saw Santa Claus and things like this.
Right on.
Excellent. What about outer
I
space,
wanted to
Frankie?
ask about. Oh, can I ask a question?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Because I lived in Sydney, Australia for 6 years, and I remember the hail there being no joke. Like, you got to go inside because you get these huge, people would have insurance claims on their car all the time because of these huge, like, baseballs falling from the air. But does anybody know why hail gets that big, or what it is about the east coast of Australia that
And then
put
they
you
get a
on the
lot of
spot?
hail. They get a lot of hail. That's where Andy Darwin is at. A news station from southeastern Australia. They get large hail in Australia
Why do they get such large hail in Australia, Frankie?
because of the weather and because of the areas come all the way from south of Australia, like the moisture.
Yeah, that you get the cool air and the dry and you get the moisture, and it just has that way. It's so dry that you get some of that moisture in that part of Australia. It just really launches things convectively high up into the sky, doesn't it?
Mm.
And then so you get these
It's-
little chunks, and they're floating around, they're hitting each other and sticking together and getting bigger.
You get
The water,
And they get-
when the water droplets are coming down, it's a warm thermal that kind of pushes them back up, so they kind of slingshot back up. But then as they come down, they freeze over again. So as they come down, they hit that warm pocket. They get that
And
slight
I just sent you the
melty.
link, a link to the video. It's like the Korea big blizzard in Yakutsk.
As they come down again, that softened, wet outer part of the new tiny little hail, it's wet, it refreezes, it gets slingshot back up from the warm pocket.
I forgot about the
Ah.
Africa. Wait a minute. On the
Right.
forecast, I forgot about Africa and India. That means India is supposed to be lots of rain and showers going on in India right now. And there's a cyclone hitting for eastern India on December 4th and things like this. And Bangladesh is going to bring lots of rain and thunderstorms right now. In Bangkok, Thailand, it's getting a dry season. Indonesia is in the rainy season right now. And there are places like in Africa and like over in Africa somewhere, like Nigeria and things like this. Their rainy season came to an end, like Nigeria and Ghana, those places. And then for other places in Africa, as for right now in Southern Africa, weather going on, lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in Zimbabwe, Zambia, Congo, DR Congo, Gabon and Uganda, and all these places, and lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in Mozambique, Madagascar, and La Réunion and the Mauritius Islands. It's getting really, really hot in South Africa right now. So it's really, really, really hot going on in South Africa right now. And the places over in the Middle East, and those places, and like in Israel, in those countries. Israel's getting cool, a little bit cooler right now. Then it got some hot weather and cold air fighting each other in Israel next week too.
Another thing about to go back to that hailstorm frequency in Australia, some studies are saying that large hailstorms are up 40%. So that instability, this is climate change.
According to the government in Australia, or according to the weather service in Australia, that means they have to go inside when the hail happens.
Otherwise, you could get your brain knocked right
knocked
in.
out. Yep.
Okay, well, I got Frankie's video here. Let's have a quick look at it. And I'll even share sound, even though it's going to be pretty bad. Okay, ready
That's
for this?
Kirill backing off.
That's Kirill right there. This guy?
No, he just
Okay. This is where Kirill lives, though. My goodness. Why would anyone want to live in Siberia? Is that music always playing there, Jake? It's like go outside, it's like epic music, hail. No.
Can't hear you that well right now, Joey, with the video sound.
I was saying, is it always like that? Is it always like that in
Siberia, because it's really, really bad there right now. Blowing snow, zero visibility.
even that music? Is that music always on too? You go
It's
outside,
always
just,
on.
just
Yeah.
snowing and music marching.
Yeah.
Soviet era.
Actually, children in Siberia, a lot of people don't know this, are born with a full snowsuit on.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That
Like a
Kirill
biological.
backing off. Post that video. He lives in Saroff. Kirill backing off is another weatherman.
So we should get him on the show sometime, Frankie. But I know it's hard for people on the other side of the world. I get that. Because
He might be sleeping.
well, I mean, yeah, it's hard for us to arrange it across Canada in a time. Like Frankie, it's like midnight where Frankie is.
It's midnight. It's Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
So if it was earlier, Frankie wouldn't even be home. He'd be out stealing Wi-Fi at A&W.
I'm on Compound Media Monday to Thursday afternoons.
That's good, and we'll do Kins and Klomp this week too, eh, Frank?
Yes, this Wednesday coming at 8 p.m. Atlantic, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, I'm there. Let's move on. Stay with us, Frankie. Unless anyone's got questions for Frankie. Anyone got questions for Frankie about the weather
Yeah.
or anything?
Where do babies come from?
That means that animals come from an egg, like chickens and things like this.
I thought eggs came from chickens.
Which came first? The
God,
chicken?
the God is the creator of the universe.
So, we're gonna come back to Frankie a little bit, but unless anyone's got questions for him, we'll talk right now to Maddie Taskin. Madeline Taskin, you
Yo.
folk singer, tell us about your folk music career and traveling and the kinds of weather and conditions you go through on the road, and then give us a little just explanation of the difference between going from Wells, BC, 4,000 feet up at 53 degrees north in the Caribou Mountains to Oakland, the home of the most pathetic baseball team.
The A's?
Yeah.
Cool. I
A's.
knew a sports thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a pretty bad team, eh?
Sure. Yeah. I don't no clue.
Anyway.
I just smile and nod when people start talking sports, you know? Yeah. Yeah, geez. That was definitely, well, when you invited me to come on the show today, I was like, what the hell am I going to talk about? And then I realized, wait a minute, I've been, like you said, at elevation all the way down to sea level, also like inland to the coast. And what's this one called? Latitude. In the space of under a week. I think it was 4 or 5 days. So yeah, it was, I think the wildest part of the journey was just noticing how hard the humidity hit me. When I opened my door at my mom's place in Tawas and like opened the car door after driving for 7 hours from up north, and just like, it was a lot colder temperature wise, but it felt a lot colder experience wise. So that's my like one meteorological commentary. But other than that, I had no moisture whatsoever going all the way from Wells all the way down to Oakland, California. It was beautiful weather. Really lucky.
What's
Really,
the
really
temperature
clear,
like?
actually.
What's the temperature like there right now?
It's definitely over 0 degrees Celsius. I don't know. I've lived in Australia, Canada, and the States, and I don't know Fahrenheit to Celsius anymore. I'm all a jumble, but I'm gonna go.
Well, yeah, I
with
mean, we don't
something like
use
12 degrees.
we don't use
Celsius.
Fahrenheit anymore because we're not animals.
Yeah. Yeah, and it don't make any damn sense if you ask me. But yeah, it's definitely above freezing all the time here. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna guess 12 to 15 degrees. That's my official opinion. And I love that you called me a folk musician, because sometimes I like really overthink how to describe my music. I wouldn't call it folk, but folk has that beautiful, like all-encompassing, like, I don't know how the fuck to answer that question, so I'm just gonna say folk.
Well, everyone wants to be so genre specific, right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Just let me play what I want to play, man. That's
like what kind of? It's like it's like you have to have like 4 subtitles to describe what kind of punk rocker you are or something, right? It's like, you know, folk music's like that, and it's like, and bluegrass isn't. Bluegrass is like, that's not bluegrass. You know, there
Yeah.
is or it isn't, which is very fascistic, and I hate bluegrass for that, even though it's beautiful sounding music. But you know, there's rules, and I'm not really
Yeah.
into their rules.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's fun to
It's
drop
like-
in on a session though and do the rules for a minute.
yeah. Well, I like
It's gotta go really fast.
most of those rules were part of how I like to play music, anyways. Back in
Mhm.
my time playing music, right, David? You know, like
Mhm.
you know, I'd like to have that bluegrassy feel, but it's like, but if you wait a second, that's not bluegrass unless you stand a certain way and have a mic over here that you all sing into. You know, and it's like, and people are like, what are you, outlaw country punk, blah, blah, blah. It's just like,
Well, it's kind of part of the bigger, the commodification of music, and it has to be a product, and everybody thinks you either got it or you don't, when in reality, every human, in my strong belief, has the capacity to, like, we're made of space, basically, mostly. So, of course, vibrations, are going to affect us, and music feels good to people, and everybody thinks like you're either born with it or you aren't, and that's absolute crap. So
Did you hear about the Autobahn in Germany? How fast people drive on the Autobahn?
Yeah.
yes, I've been on the Autobahn. It was
Dude.
terrifying, and I got car sick. It was horrible.
I
How
just
fast people
remember
drive
seeing
on
some
it.
crazy people. Yeah. Yeah. Like unbelievably fast, right? Like, wow. But anyway.
There's no speed limit.
Yeah. Yeah.
what happens, Frankie, if someone goes 299,792, 4,458 meters per second on the Autobahn, Frankie?
You go,
Yeah, they go the speed of light.
They,
What
if
happens
they
if you
do
go
have a
above
slow
speed limit?
lane. Yeah.
You don't go in the slow lane, yeah, if you're going the speed of light.
Yeah.
what happens if somebody drives 999 bazillion miles per hour on the Autobahn?
That might rupture space-time fabric, Frankie.
Yeah, I think that's
All
a
things as we know it
singularity.
might cease to exist.
Don't create a singularity in the slow lane.
Yeah.
Slow lanes for 18-wheelers.
Yeah, if someone goes 900 billion kilometers an hour, they'll unleash a paradox that will melt space-time.
That means that 18-wheelers are on the slow lane on the Autobahn.
I wish they'd be in the slow lane everywhere.
18-wheelers, what does that mean?
Means they got 18 wheels. That's a trucking talk there, Frankie.
With a container in the back.
I'm a truck driving son of a gun. That's the kind of
Nice
music.
enunciation.
That was sort of my brand of country. You know.
Outlaw country.
Yeah, I guess so. Trucking country. Like, what kind of country music you play? Like trucking country. The trucking
If
kind.
you country.
Trucking kind. 6 days on the road, and I'm gonna make it home tonight. You know, that kind of country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Hilding, David Roy Parsons,
Mm-hmm.
Madeline, we've already started this stuff. So, in your life as musicians, tell me about some of the weather stories that have happened in your life as a musician.
Okay. Well, I used to bust in -20 and
Ottawa.
of it. Well, not that I thought nothing of it. Actually, sometimes because of the weather, you'd make lots of money fast because they felt sorry for you or something. So that,
They can see that you feel sorry for yourself.
Well, no, you don't look that way when you're singing, not when you're singing. Well, maybe if you're singing Bruce Springsteen, you might look more, seem mournful. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes, you can seem mournful when you're singing too. Sure. It depends.
When you're singing Buffy St. Marie songs. What about you, Hilding? Talk to me about being at a festival and some random weather thing happens.
Well, I can say that in the 12 years that I've been on the committee at the music festival in Robson Valley, there's been 2 summers that we didn't have rain. And yet it seems like rain at a festival affects you totally different than it does in any other part of your life. Everybody loves to dance in the rain. It's a funny thing. Everybody's walking around. Who cares what you have on your feet? You're just enjoying yourself.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
That's what I like
What do you mean
about
by
music.
everybody? Rewind to that part where you said everybody. I don't recall enjoying that.
The festival organizers probably aren't enjoying it.
Oh, that's usually when I'm like sitting in the sound booth with Brian, being like, "Hey, buddy, hey, thought I'd come hang out here because it's not
Yeah.
raining.
Uh-huh.
Love you, dude. How's it going?" Yeah, that's generally one of my favorite things. Happened at Robson Valley Music Festival. So I just split up with the ex-wife, so that was great. And then I had the kids, and we stayed at Rod and Deb's little cabin farm out there, a couple kilometers from the festival grounds. And it was getting dark, and the Perside meteor shower was going on because it's the festival's usually around that August 12th weekend. Perside meteor showers going on, but
Then
there
they got
was
the
but there was Northern Lights, Frankie. There was Northern Lights.
Northern Lights is somewhere in Northern Canada. Then they got the total solar eclipse heading right for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Monday, April 8th, 2024. All you guys will be heading for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Friday, April 5th, 2024.
Now just imagine this, Frankie. The most beautiful epic mountains and shooting stars and Northern Lights. And there was one more thing, though. There was lightning storm sitting on top of a couple of the mountains down the valley, throwing out bolts of lightning with the aurora behind it and shooting stars going past the light. It was like, and I had my little girl was like 4 years old. We were like watching together. And it's just, man, that was like, that was one of those visuals I just cannot find very often in planet Earth. It was so spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Joey, who's
Right.
heading for Sydney on Monday, April 8th, 2024?
I'm coming to your house, Frankie.
At the Holiday Inn Hotel.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
meteor
that's fine.
showers in December, isn't there?
There is the meteor shower in December. What's that one called? It's not the Leonids, is it?
I thought it's started
The
with
Geminids.
The Geminids.
okay. Yeah. Speaking on
That's-
December 14th.
And I always remember that one because December 14th is my mother's birthday. And that's about the time the
Okay.
Geminids. So much like the Perseids. You know, the Perseids, they say it's August 12th the peak. But I mean, you can go out on August 20th and see a ton of fireballs flying off, right?
Yeah.
It could be the 5th of August and you'll see a ton of friggin'. So, like, what they call the peak, I mean, yeah, maybe there's a peak period, but it's not like.
Yeah.
It's not like there has to be that day or you miss the show,
We missed
right?
them.
Like,
Yeah. I
You
have
know,
a
I
very
think the-
vivid memory of watching the meteor shower, and I think it must have been the August one when I was about 10 with the Patnod sisters in Horsefly, and we
Oh,
slept
my.
outside with tarps on us.
that is totally cool.
Yeah, that was good. That was an Island Mountain of the Arts summer. I just remembered a weather story from tour that your story reminded me of. We were in the Sawtooth Mountains in Idaho. I think it's called the Sawtooth Music Festival.
Okay.
And we had our set time, and they said, oh, you know, there's a forecast for an electrical storm, and they kind of come up pretty quickly here. And this festival was in this beautiful valley, Ketchum, Idaho, and like massive, beautiful Sawtooth Mountains right behind the stage. So you're watching the band, and you know, there's this huge mountain range behind us. So anyway, we're all set up, and I think halfway through the first song of this like prog rock band I was in for 4 years, this shower comes, and all of a sudden stage managers or this like electrical storm is apparently coming from over the mountains, and all these stage managers are yelling, get off the stage, you're gonna get electrocuted. I'm like, run. Now, my bass player and my guitarist both had the foresight to like cover their gear before they left the stage. I was like, I don't want to die. And I ran and left my keyboard totally set up. And there was a rain thing right over. And I swear that it was like blue skies. And then all of a sudden, this lightning storm came out of nowhere in 30 seconds or something. It was like really quick. And so, you know, those black rain, like the shade cloth things, they're not for rain at all. That's what they had above the stage. And that thing pooled with rain so quickly. And guess where it dripped? Right down into my keyboard. So like, I think like 12 or 15 minutes later, the storm was over and I had a totally fried Nord Electro. And then like 5 minutes later, somehow, yay, humanity and festivals, all of a sudden there was a new keyboard and they like said, we're going to give you we're going to extend the set. The next band's happy to play a bit shorter. And all of a sudden we had a set and everybody was just like, all of a sudden now like covered in mud and it just made the show so much better. So Hilding, I'm with you on that festival. Like rain and festivals is a whole different thing. And my keyboard survived. There you go. That was my story.
Came back from a band practice once and then I got into drinking, you know, back then I used to drink a lot back then and forgot to take my gear out of the back of the truck and all that. And then I woke up and it's like pounding rain in the morning, just pounding. I'm like, I was like, good thing I got everything out of the truck last night. And I like get up and I look out my upper window down and I see like my Fishman acoustic electric amp, you know, it's just getting
in a pool,
just getting rained on. So what you do, I have a big dehydrator unit, like its purpose is to dehydrate food, right? But it's big enough, this thing, that I could put my amp inside of it and I put it in for 3 days and dehydrated it. And then I plugged it back, I plugged it in and it worked just fine. So what you don't want to do is ever turn it on while it's wet. As long as you can get it really dry, you have a chance. So then I lost a cell phone, old iPhone up on top of Island Mountain will fall in trees. And it was a snow up to here. I'm like,
it's gone. Yeah.
I looked and it's getting dark and it's not. So 6 months later goes by and I went off logging in Clearwater that spring and it was all over. I was gone from Wells for quite a while and I came back and the heat dome happened. It was like 6 days of crazy heat going on. And at the end of it, I was like, I bet you if that phone's up there still, it's dried right out and it's going to work just fine. So I went up to my Island Mountain and I walked straight to the phone. It's like, there it is. Nice. Got home, plugged it in, and it worked for, it's actually, this is it. It's not the one I use anymore. I had it for a different reason out and plugged in recently to get some things off of it. But it was functioning fairly normally again. So, Imogen,
wow.
We haven't said anything to you yet. How's things down there? How's things down there in Victoria this week? And how's calendars going along? And talk to us about Rogers TV.
There is not a whole lot that I have to say about Rogers, but Rogers has bought up Shaw or merged or whatever. So we now answer to Rogers TV. That's our new overlord. So hello. Hello, Rogers. Thank you for not canceling us.
Hey, Rogers.
Yeah, hey, Rogers.
Yeah.
We're your awesome show
one of the cool
weather.
One of the cool things about what's happening in Tofino with their crazy rainfall is that Tofino is legendary for their beaches. It's like it's frequently listed as one of the best surfing spots in the whole world because of the massive expanse. And if you've never been there, it's absolutely surreal. Like to walk on the beach and see nothing but an area that looks like an alien planet with steam coming out of the sand and just miles of white sand and ocean and blue sky. It's also a fantastic place for storm chasing or storm watching or whatever. It's a part of Tofino's tourism is that they actually have that. You can rent an Airbnb, you can rent a cottage, whatever. You can plan little packages to just go out in horrific weather and possibly get hit by lightning if you play it right. This is the magic of Tofino. So storm weather is really good for them, for weirdos like us who want to go up there and just do a little poking around, camp out on the beach.
And they will be seeing a lot of that weather. They're going to be seeing
Yeah,
a
they
lot
will.
of it. So this here is snowfall projections for the next 10 days. So we'll just take a look at this quickly. Yeah, I got to move your heads. You kind of
What?
put you over here. Yeah, never mind.
What are you talking
So
about?
here's-
Don't move my head. I like
I had
it
to
where
move your
Everybody
head.
move your head.
attached.
I moved your head.
Mine stays attached. Good luck
New
catching me.
snow in the
Yeah.
Coast Mountains, so up to maybe 2 meters. Middle of Vancouver Island, 71 centimeters. Rockies, 50, 60 centimeters in some of the Rockies, 80 up down there. So some of the mountain passes where you're going to be driving through, some of the 50, maybe Paulson Summit, could see some Coquihalla. Yeah, we're looking at, so the next 10 days, well, the next 5 days, what do we got? So definitely next 3 days, less. So the next 3 to 5 days for the interior is when this stuff that's coming to the coast is going to break in. Have a look for a second at rain accumulation, and you see there's some big time rainfall numbers going on next 3 days. Well, what's the next 5 days? Whoa, wait a second, 189 millimeters. That is craziness. Next 10 days, what do we got? It went down 136. Okay, yeah, I'm having trouble. 187 mils in places. North Shore, Vancouver Island, 170. So that's in the next 5 days when that atmospheric river hits, right? So that's what we're really looking at. Yeah, for everybody. So here we are. Let me just play
Can I
this
ask
out.
a meteorology noob question that maybe others out there are perhaps thinking?
Yes.
Yes.
Please do.
This has always messed with my brain, but I've never looked it up. So maybe you guys can answer this question. So what does 100 millimeters, for example, what does that mean? Is it record? Do they have like a little bowl somewhere that they put? Like, what does that actually mean? Is
It's
that
like
how
a
much
test
falls on-
tube. It's like a test tube.
It's a test
And
tube. Okay.
It's basically like, if you, when it says in your recipe, add 100 millimeters of milk, and then you take your little bucket out and you measure 100 millimeters of milk. So you just imagine it's like, instead of your little measuring cup, it's a test tube shaped thing instead. But
But that doesn't explain what the convention is, right? Because I hear 100 millimeters, for example, and I hear, does that mean that 100 millimeters is covering is there 10 centimeters of rain
yes,
everywhere? Yes. Okay. So
Yes.
if there was a test tube on a 1 millimeter diameter test tube or something, then 100 mil, I don't. Yeah,
So
I don't know.
that's the point at which we are measuring there, right? So it's like you could say at this location at this time, between such and such hours, this much rain fell. So we might have on a fire line, we might have 1 or 2 of those set up in different places, but usually there's just one at staging. And so we're looking at the rainfall total from last night. It's like, well, look, 5 mils fell, it says. And I'm like, dude, up on the mountain yesterday when that thunderstorm hit, 50 mils came down. So
Now, but
the localization, if you have to have
Mhm.
more measuring points. So it doesn't mean 100 mils everywhere, but it could mean that. Yes.
it still doesn't. I there must be some convention, like it's over a square centimeter, because if the test tube is this big diameter, does anybody share my confusion on this, or am I?
It doesn't matter the diameter. It only matters the measurable space, right? So, it doesn't matter if you get a measuring cup and you put
But
100 millimeters in. It doesn't matter what the shape of the measuring cup is. 100 millimeters is 100 millimeters.
Right.
But yes, it's a narrow
And
tube.
I got news. Gabriel Bernal might join for a bit. That's what he said.
That would be cool. We haven't seen Gabriel in so long. Oh yeah, tell him to come on. Yes. Tell him to come in. We'd love that. So looking at this weekend, here's Gabriel, the rapping weatherman. We got all the music people here today, man. We haven't seen the Rapid Weatherman
Start
in
a
so long.
choir.
So here we go. A little bit of snowfall coming in through Friday overnight. So maybe we'll see a little bit of that here in the Caribou. That's how it's looking for BC. And you're going to see that atmospheric river really show up. So this big old low here, it's going to drag all this moisture into one big long line here in a minute. And you're going to, you know, it's being slower than I would like. I wish it would run through the model quickly. Zoom. That's what I like. Oh, what's the name of that site? There's another weather site that I sometimes use.
Which one are you talking about?
Venture Sky.
Windy.com?
Hey, Gabriel Berardo.
Hello. How's it
Rapping
going, Joey?
weatherman. How's it going, bro?
Yeah, good. Man. I've been okay, man.
So I
I've
got
been okay. Leafs
we
won
got
today. It's good.
singer-songwriters, David Parson and Madeline Tasquin, and we got singer-songwriter Hilding,
Great.
and we got hip
Hello,
hop
guys.
weather rapper Gabriel Berardo. I'm not on Twitter. I got off. They're like, it's changing to X. I'm like, see ya.
I know. I'm like, yo, like, what the hell's up with that now? Like, right?
It's like, remember how
right, like,
MySpace
I
was
don't-
super cool for a long time? You probably wouldn't remember that, but there was a time where
I don't.
MySpace was the best thing for musicians, man. It was awesome. And you know what they did? They kept messing with it and changing it and until it just look at this atmospheric river. Oh my God.
Oh,
I
yeah,
still miss
no.
Tom.
You guys get that?
MySpace Tom, I miss him. He was cool. He was good people. MySpace Tom, he still exists.
I'm a
If
huge
not
fan
only
of
in
the
our
guy.
memories.
I got it. On MySpace, I was Jake the Snake Roberts' top friend. Like I was on his top friends. Jake the Snake, man.
I met her in person back on July 13th, 2023.
Like it turns
course
out
you
that
did,
Jake the
Frankie.
Snake likes outlaw country music that's like, political and angry. He was cool with the Outlaw Band.
I met Jake the Snake, Jake the Snake, down at the Making Waves concert at Wentworth Park on July 13th, 2023.
Jake the Snake is awesome, right, Imogen?
Sure, why not? Anyone who
you're-
calls himself that is got to be at least interesting.
Well, you're a wrestling kind of person. Like, aren't you a Jake the Snake
True.
Roberts fan?
I have an appreciation for some of the old school wrestlers, that's for sure. The
962
era.
low. Oh my God! So we're
When's
looking at
that,
this.
Joey?
We're just looking at this is coming next week. This is the atmospheric river coming to BC, and look at it, man. This is, that's
yeah, right.
craziness. And we got another one on this coast. It's like,
Are you gonna share your screen, Joey?
are you able to see it?
I am
I
not,
can't
but
see
maybe
your
everybody
screen.
else is.
No, I can't see it. I have my phone, guys. I'm sorry, I don't have a laptop right now.
That's
so I
crazy
can't
because it
just-
says I'm screen sharing, and I
Can
imagine
anyone
that-
else see it?
I imagine
I don't
the
see a
audience is
screen.
seeing it. Crazy.
Yeah, you were screen sharing. It was there.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
your map was there.
Seeing it.
Oh wait.
I'm not
Oh
right now,
no.
but I was.
Sorry.
I turned it off for now because I want to talk to our friend Gabriel Berardo. Actually, one
Yes,
more thing
sir.
I want to show you for anybody who's
Okay.
Aha.
Can you see the screen
Now
now?
we can see it. Yep.
That's
I
weird
can
because it was
see
on the
Aurora
the whole
forecast.
time before. Northern Lights possibility tonight. A little bit of a solar storm going on. So,
Nice.
Gabriel Berardo down there in Southern Ontario. How goes the
Yes,
game?
sir.
What you been up to, bro?
Huh? Okay, well, first of all, the Leafs, you know what I mean? They're okay recently, like they're not bad, but like they're you know what they're okay, I mean, okay, they won last night. I mean like they won
I'm
tonight.
complaining. I'll tell you why. Because every
Okay, go
time they
ahead.
play on a Thursday night, GB, this is what happens. They're leading 3-1.
They lose, really.
They're leading 3-1. I'm like, well,
Oh,
good.
no.
I'm about to start my show, so that's cool. I can turn off the hockey game now and not think about it.
Curse.
There's 5 minutes left. Oh no, it's 3-3, and I have to do my
Oh, no.
show now. And I turn the game
See?
off. At least they win in overtime, but I didn't. But it's like, could they just not once? I'm like, when it's 5 minutes before the game ends and it's 5 minutes before my show starts, I'm like, you know what? They're winning 3-1.
I understand, Joey.
I can
The
turn it
curse-
off because they're gonna win 3-1.
Yes,
Just,
yes.
just one Thursday. I would like that.
I know, and I think that is a curse of your show. I think your show is cursed, and it's making the Leafs lose because
No,
they know you're not
They
watching.
win a lot of those games, but they blow the lead, and it's like don't
I
blow
know.
the lead right before I
I
have to.
know, like it's frustrating, man. I was watching
I
it. I
thought the
was like,
game was in the
what?
bag. So
I
you got
know,
any
right?
new?
I was like, yo.
You got any new
Yeah.
rhymes for us lately? What's been going on? You've been
Well,
spitting them out or what?
not like as in lately. I think I like just sort of like I'm in here. I have my headphones in right now, so I can't really do it right now. But like, yeah, I mean, I haven't really been on that like as much as I used to recently, and I should. Maybe the next show I will give you guys like like I mean like a lot of that, but yeah,
The spirit moves.
yeah, it's,
You know what we gotta
Yeah.
do, Madeline? Is like
Yo.
sometime when you're like in Wells, and like David and Hildy, and it's like, and we'll be like, GB, get out of Southern Ontario. It's terrible down there. And then he comes out and we help this kid make his first hip hop album. And we lay down some
Yeah.
fat bass lines. I get some sick drum licks in there.
I'll fart with my armpits.
I could sure use that. You start with your armpit. Okay,
we gotta get this kid into a studio and get you a single at least, man.
I know.
Because he got skills.
Go.
I mean, yeah, right. Like, right? What? I'm not. No, I mean, I'm not gonna go rap right now. But like, when was the last time I did rap on the show? Like, I think it was a few months
been
ago.
like
and I
6
just kept
months,
going.
dude. It's been 6 months.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't been 6 months.
Yes,
There's
it
no
has.
way.
I forgot who the microphone assassin was. It's been that long.
Yeah, I can know, right? And I just kept on like, I'm like fast at it too, and I just kept going at it too. Like, oh my god, guys, you guys, like, oh my gosh, I just kept going at that one too. I just kept going.
That was
I didn't take a breath. But anyways, yeah, right.
Well, Gabriel, if you don't do it, then somebody else is gonna self-select to do some rhymes, and that's probably, I'm speaking for myself, a really bad idea.
Do some rhymes, man.
Like,
You can do
yeah,
it. You can do it, Maddie.
spit a fat rhyme. No, yeah, no, I'll embarrass myself.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know if I should or not. Should I or no?
Of course. I thought I had one of your raps.
I need to upload a beat. I need to go get.
I thought I had
like
one
a
of your
beat,
raps saved, but I guess I don't now.
I thought that I did too. I had a few of them saved. I don't know where they went because I have like a few, because I have like a lot of freaking like a lot of stuff that I have in my like I mean thing. So I don't really have them thing right saved or whatever.
The only Gabriel video I have right now is in my Comedeorological file is this one. You guys see this?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Other, of course, than the weatherman, I have been told that I look like Abraham Lincoln recently with the beard, and I wanted to look like I remember that. I remember that. Oh my god! But that was so long ago too. But oh my god,
That
was,
clip
way
is
up
still
to
gold, man. That clip
Yeah,
is
that was me. I was giving you a hard time about that one because you're really going in.
I
and
know.
Lincoln.
I know
was
you
talking
were.
about your stovepipe hat and yeah.
Everybody was though. Everybody was. It wasn't only you. It was my family. It was people in my work. I was like, do I really look like Abraham Lincoln or
yeah, you
or
did.
Like
I started looking Amish, man. I was
Paris.
at the damn bar. You got real Amish with it. I was
Amish.
impressed.
I know, right?
Yeah, I was
It's got
impressed.
like
It was
I
working.
know.
I don't think anyone's ever made like Hutterite hip hop. Like it could be pretty cool,
I once got
How do you
Osama
know?
bin
You don't
Laden.
interact with
apparently look like.
Hutterites.
I don't look like Osama with that. Right? Yeah, I know it's weird. Yeah, I mean, like I had like a weird sort of like look there. To be honest, I don't know why I was so like long my beard. I mean, I look like Osama. Some people said apparently. I don't think I did look like Osama bin Laden. They also like
not nearly as much as Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, I know, not nearly as much, but it was pretty close. I mean, if it was like like a little bit longer.
A lot longer. It had to be a lot longer. You were not going in
like,
for Osama. You were
Because like, if it was a lot longer, I would look like Osama.
yeah, like 6 inches, man. You need like another 6
Yeah,
inches before
yeah.
that. You were nowhere near that. Like,
Yeah, and
you
I
were
mean,
nowhere near that. It
I
was
don't
like
want to be
2 inches
blowing up
long.
on this stream. I don't want to be blowing up on your show, Joey's.
It's
Oh,
it's so crazy that Brandon doesn't show up and then everyone else shows up. It's like, has Brandon Houck been taking
But-
up too much space?
But then I show up. I meant to replace him, I guess, right? I don't know, I guess.
No, he's irreplaceable. That's why we needed so many friends to
He
show
is
up.
irreplaceable.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we do miss you tonight,
Yeah.
Brandon. And yeah, good job on raising $40,000. Oh my
Yeah.
God! And guess who else is showing up tonight? This is a special show. This is officially a special show, and Brandon's gonna be so sad he wasn't here. This is officially
Oh no,
a
it's just
special
over.
show, Joe.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey,
Hey,
Joe.
Joe.
Hey, Joe, you have returned.
I have returned. Yes, sir, Mr. Frankie.
Wow, I'm so happy to see you, man. How is polar bear season? How is the blizzard? How is the crazy cold weather in Churchill? Everybody, Madeline, Taskin, and David Roy Parsons, and of course, Gabriel and Frankie and Hilding and Imogen. This is Joe Stover, the legend
Hey,
himself,
Joe.
from the Times Change High and Lonesome Club Pub to
Nice.
the Great White North.
Nice to see you all again. Absolutely. It's been a long time. Yeah, bear season was nuts. This whole past year was nuts, right? You didn't really see too much of me as my girlfriend and I got a house that was foreclosed on. So it was a lot of work to get done. And then that led, the second we finished that, it was polar bear tourism season, not polar bear hunting season. I have to make sure that I let people know that they're different.
Well, you're hunting them. You're just not killing them.
That's right. We're with people to
With your
hunt them,
eyes.
but that's right, and we shoot them with our cameras.
Damn.
Ah, ha, ha,
What?
but it was wild. It was we had a lot of people through. I think something like 9,000-10,000 people through in about 6
Holy.
weeks. So it was pretty wild. It really was. We had lots of good bear sightings, and the weather was interesting. We had lots of unseasonable weeks. The Hudson Bay itself was about 4 degrees warmer than normal, which meant that there was some worries about the ice freezing on time for the bears to get back on there so that they could eat their seals and whatnot. But looks more or less kind of third week of November is when that ice finally tightened up, and all the bears are gone now. They're all out in the Hudson Bay ice, eating seals for the next 8 months or so.
Living the
Oh,
good
yeah.
life.
It's crazy good
That
to
makes
see
sense.
you, Joe.
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
Crazy good to see you, Joe.
Yeah.
It's late in the show, but how do you do reviews? Still going on CKW?
You betcha. I had to take a bear season break, but I had a lot of really cool fill-in hosts that helped me out. But yeah, I'm back on the air now regularly, and that's right here on CKUW 95.9 FM every Friday evenings at 6. I love sharing the airwaves with legendary shows as this, though, Joey. That's for sure.
Dude, I love having you on, and I still haven't been on your show. But someday.
It's gonna happen. We're gonna make it happen.
You have your own show. I didn't see that yet.
You've been hearing us
but
on.
Oh my God.
You've been hearing us on CKW, where you've been hearing Joe's Stover show, and you've been hearing us on CFUR 95, 95, 89, 88.7 FM CFUR, and 92.5 FM CFPX, and Rogers TV now. We're on Rogers TV now, Joe.
I
First
love
time
it.
ever.
Hello, Rogers TV.
Hi, Rogers. We like your baseball team.
What's the channel?
Just
Like,
what's
on
the channel?
Victoria British, in Victoria British Columbia, it's on the same channel numbers was Shaw Spotlight TV was.
It's just
Okay.
different now, right, Frankie?
Cool.
Mhm.
So,
Joey, are some of these links? Because I'd love to check out everybody's projects and music
Yes.
and all the
I was
things. Are
gonna
you going
get
to
to
put that in
that
the description? Okay.
because we're gonna have Frankie rattle off all his sites in a second.
I got a mine in the
So-
chat for you if you want.
If you
So
Sorry.
before you do, Frankie, so let's go through this because we got a bunch of talent here. So Image Cookie Bailey is making these new calendars. Talk about that quickly because they're cool.
I guess so. That's perspective, but yes. Yeah, I have a 2024 wall calendar out now, and it's pretty much all pin-up and modeling adventures and all sorts of stuff from Tofino, Mill Bay, Miami. I went all over the place doing a lot of photos, a lot of adventures, and a lot of fun. A lot of beaches. The world has some amazing beaches, so getting to hang out on and do that and do the thing I love doing and then put it all together. A lot of work went into it. Information for it is on my website, www.imogen.in. So yeah, they're available. If you want to check them out, that is where to go to take a look.
And
So
it's extremely relevant because a lot of those beach bikini pictures, you're out in the weather. How do you do? Review.podbean.com is where you'll find Joe Stover, our man. And Maddie, what's your handle on the internet?
I do have a website, but I'd love to direct people to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get to that magic 1,000 subscriber number. I think I'm at 635. So yeah, people can look me up. Madeline, spelled M-A-D-E-L-I-N-E, Madeline Tasquin, Tasquin on YouTube. And yeah, two Christmas album collaborations that I made with my friend Chelsea. When we discovered we had a shared love of Christmas music. So you can find those somewhere on YouTube and everywhere else. That's all I can think to plug right now. Boom.
At Gabriel Berardo on the X. And I don't know
Yeah.
if Holding has a specific site.
Instagram,
or
actually,
Parsons
sorry.
do, but
Instagram.
on the Instagram.
Yeah, on the
Gabriel
Instagram.
Berardo. At
Yeah,
And
Gabriel
what,
on
and
the
Joe,
X.
what
Yes,
about
Frankie.
me?
Berardo.
Now
If
let's
you wanna-
do Frankie.
If you want to follow me on social media, my link tree is Frankie McDonald. My Twitter now X is Frankie McD. My Blue Sky is at Frankie McD. My Facebook is Frankie McDonald. My Instagram is Frankie McD 1984. My TikTok is Frank Down 1984. My Clapper is Frank Down 1984. My Twitch is Frank Down 1984. My YouTube channel is Dogs and Wolves. And my Snapchat is Frankie AMCDON. And my LinkedIn is Frankie McDonald. Best luck to you. I'm Frank Down. You listen to Joy Only Show every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic.
Awesome. Really good show. Really good show, everybody. Thanks for coming in and helping us fill in for the Brandon. And hey, two people I got to thank. You might not realize, but they're upstairs right now playing Sonic the Hedgehog very quietly because when they're home and Dad's doing a podcast, they know that keep quiet. And if they're good for that hour and a half, then we'll watch the new Godzilla episodes and have popcorn and candy. Wait.
wait. Hold on. Godzilla episodes? Is there a series, a Godzilla series?
Yeah, there is. We'll
There's a-
tell you all about it next week. Bye, Frankie.
Godzilla
That's
series that you didn't tell me. Giant lizards destroying things.
Wait, I'll tell you about it now.
I love that. That was good. That was a good last line. Giant lizards
I'll
recording.
tell you about it now. I
things.
just, the advertising thing. End of the show. But yes, is it on Apple TV?
How would I know? Why are you asking us?
Okay, so it's called Monarch: Legacy of Monsters,
Oh, okay.
and it's episodes. It's a TV show, and it's the backstory of, like, you remember the new Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, like Godzilla King of the Monsters? It was really fucking epic.
Yeah, I like the really old ones, the really tacky ones with plastic toys beating up Lego buildings.
Oh, I love the old ones too, right? I'm an original fan. But the ones that came out in the last 10 years were like Godzilla, and there's the whole backstory. So Monarch is this company that's involved in the monsters, and so this is the backstory of Monarch going back to like World War II. But there's a new Godzilla movie, Godzilla -1, coming out. That's made in Japan. It's all Japanese. It's a remake of the original Godzilla, 1953. And it looks sick. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a Godzilla movie that looks this polished good. Like it doesn't look like cheesy for example, Godzilla, he's like half the size of the Godzilla that you see usually in the movies these days. Not quite as big, but he's a little faster and he's evil. Like he's just playing, like you can tell it's not all like CGI crap looking. It looks good. And he looks evil, like jacked, and people look terrified. And it's like the footage of people running through these old Tokyo streets in the 1950s. It's like
realistic.
It's got a realism to it.
Yeah.
And I can see that this one, Godzilla -1, is gonna. It's one of those ones you might want to see on the fucking IMAX.
I gotta run, guys. Joey, it was good to see you, man.
I love you, Stover.
Yeah.
Even we only have a few
bro.
minutes. Even we only have a few minutes. I love having you.
I'll try and pop on as much as I can. GB, Imogen, good to see
Where's
you
my
both.
screen?
Everybody else.
Why can't I see myself here?
Nice to
Okay.
meet you.
Oh,
Hold
nice to meet you, Madeline. Very good.
Yeah.
Good seeing you
Take
again.
care.
Come back
How
more.
are you? There
Could
we
y'all
go.
still see me? Could y'all still see
Oh
me?
yeah,
Or am
you're
I
there.
black?
You're back.
Oh,
You
okay, that's
disappeared
good.
for a
I
second.
can see my
but now
screen.
you're
I
back.
know. I want to go check, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Weather
so-
stuff.
So fun seeing a bunch of the old faces showing up too, and a bunch of new faces, and fun episode.
I know, right? I know, right? I'm an old face, sort of.
I'll
Live
have
on the
fun
show, I
editing the
guess.
dead space out tomorrow and making it tight.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Can you make me sound eloquent too while you're at it?
Yes.
Can you overdub and say like really intelligent
Yeah.
things? Really well crafted. Oh, by the way, the beaker, I looked it up. It's 5 centimeters diameter.
Okay.
There is a standard here.
It's about
This
that
makes
big.
more sense because like 100 millimeters falling here or there means a different thing in the reality of the weather. It doesn't
Yeah.
change the volume, but it changes the feeling of like if my diameter of my body is a meter, it's gonna feel like less rain than if my diameter of my body is
A
what it is.
mile.
That makes somewhat sense, I
I'd be
guess.
impressed.
That makes
I'd be
sense.
very impressed.
Yeah, sounds like not a fun existence.
All I
So
know
many
is
places at once.
that would make sense. 5 centimeter diameter, because like I said, the ones that we use on the fire lines, that all the weather rainfall ones I've ever seen, they're like that. So
Okay, well this says
which would be 5 centimeter diameter.
yeah, it's a funnel of 8 inches. Oh wait, sorry, I was wrong. Inches diameter. The graduated cylinder.
Oh, it's a
generating-
rain
blah, blah,
beaker.
blah. Yeah, rainfall is measured every 24 hours, generally at 8:30 in the morning, and the top of the rain gauge must be at least 0.3 meters above the ground level.
Right.
Well, yeah, because that makes sense to me, right? Because it has to, I don't know, like catch all the rain too, and I guess so. It has to be. Yeah, huh?
So it
That's
doesn't-
interesting.
Bounce in twice or something.
Yeah, whatever.
Bounce
I
off the
don't
ground.
know, like right? It gets like a drop at once, or like a few drops at once. Like I don't know how those work. I never had a rain beaker before.
Standard rain gauge. There you go.
Even I'm learning something today. Look at that. What a
I know,
fantastic
I know.
time.
You're saying, I learn something.
So now
every
you can
day almost.
overdub you spitting out that factoid. Actually, you can be like, well, actually, it's a 5-inch diameter. Do you ever overdub stuff?
No, not really.
Oh, it is a
I'm
5-inch
kidding.
diameter. Is it actually?
I
I think it
5-inch?
is. Yeah, I wish I,
I
could
just
copy
cut a
and
lot
paste
of what I
links,
say
but-
out of the final cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I'm like slightly OCD, I need to tell you guys the exact areas. Is that okay? Because I did all the addition while we're
Yes.
so
Oh, it's
BC is
okay.
925,000 roughly. I'm just going to even out to the 1,000 kilometers squared. And then Oregon and California and Washington combined is 825,000 kilometers squared. And then if you add in Idaho, you come up to just above BC. So you can almost squeeze Idaho, California, Oregon, and Washington into the size of BC. Isn't that crazy?
It
It's like the
makes
map
sense. Though. I
projection
mean,
is so different.
it makes sense as you look at it. It's like Canada's big, and it's like BC's big, and but you know, California is just it's like a hot dog.
I know, right? And we could fit everybody in that, like the whole entire thing, the whole entire thing, whatever it's called.
It's like this is like
State.
one
We could fit all
okie
of
dog.
Canada.
It's like a
Okie dog.
I know,
graduated
it's like
brain
a weird
cylinder.
thing.
That's
I know, it's
a
like a weird thing if you think about it. Like, how do
that's
we fit everybody in that one
California
state?
punk rock reference.
That's kind of
Yeah.
one of the things about tourists here is that everywhere else in the world, everything is so close together. So you'll hear people say like, "Oh, I'm just going to drive over to West Edmonton Mall. We're on Vancouver Island, the westest part." It's like, no, where you're from, you can just drive to Disneyland and then go home that day. Here, you don't just drive anywhere. You commit, you plan, you make arrangements, you book a hotel or steal a van or whatever, right? Like you don't just do anything.
I had
That's-
that post-punk band Gertrude with me here in BC once, and like we're gonna go from Vancouver to Calgary, but then we're like, you know, late night drinking. We don't have to be there for a couple days though, and they're like, well, should we go to Calgary today? It's like 11 in the morning. I'm like, you want to go to Calgary today? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you understand.
You don't understand where
But,
you
you know,
are.
If this is Ireland, though,
Different.
you know, I drive an hour to go get groceries. But if this is Ireland, you'd be like, "Oh, we better get a hotel. That's an hour away." You know, that's
Yeah.
fine. You know,
So true.
yeah. Well, I should get to the Godzilla episode with the kids.
Yeah.
And they've been really good upstairs and quiet, and I'm ready for a snack.
Hey, this was a real pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me, Joey.
You're
I
welcome.
didn't know
and
I
you can
needed
come on-
socialization today, but I did. So thank you.
You can come on anytime you want to, Maddie. It's,
Oh
there's
yeah,
not-
no, yeah, like you too.
you know, it's like a, you know, the show isn't really a show. It's like
I
a
know.
meeting place
I'm Woody.
where I do a lot of talking so that it has, you know, a foundation that we can call a show and put it somewhere. But really, it's just a
Yeah.
meeting place, and we just get together and shoot the shit.
Heck
Shoot the
yeah.
shit.
You know, and it's hard.
There you
It's
go.
like I go all winter without hardly talking to humans except for like children and puppies, and then I
And
come on.
Thursdays.
You know, it's like, you know, hey, at the grocery store today, a pretty woman looked at me for a second. It's like, wow, I'm going to be good for another whole month.
Oh,
You know, so it's like, if you're trying to have a normal conversation after you've been out in the mountains for too long, you're like, you're either like that, or you're like,
Yeah.
well, things is slow.
yeah. I feel like COVID just like completely ruined small talk for, not that it was ever enjoyable really to anybody, but it's like everybody forgot how to do small talk.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I don't think talking about the weather is small talk, just for the record.
Oh yeah, no, you know, it's not. It's like a big,
Yeah.
big business for me.
That's a big deal.
Technically.
The weather is important.
Oh, it is important.
What we're all in. Okay, bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
okay,
Oh, yeah,
let's
yeah.
do it. Let's say
Bye.
goodbye. And I didn't even. We got so busy chatting today. I didn't even look at all the comments. So thank you everybody for coming along, watching the show. Appreciate it very much. Hit the like and subscribe and share and tell a friend. And thank you, Imogen, for all your associate producing work. Because I wouldn't have known to say Rogers TV this week, even though Frankie knew. But appreciate it. And yeah, good to see you, Maddie.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Gabriel. Good to see you, Building.
Yeah. I mean,
Peace, everyone.
See you later.
Blessings.
Okay.
Don't let the genocide get you down.
Yeah.